Hello, welcome to this update, a quick update for the severe weather. So we have some changes today. There's this very big slight risk in portions of Texas, Oklahoma, and all the way to New York. This goes through parts of Kentucky, Ohio, Tennessee, down to even Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, into Arkansas, Indiana, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. So be careful, there's this marginal risk around it as well. Goes up even further, might affect portions of southern Canada too. And there's a 2% tornado threat, spots of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, into Tennessee and Kentucky and Ohio. So be careful in those areas. There's wind threat in all the areas, and especially Oklahoma and Texas, significant severe. So be careful in those areas. Some stronger gusts, and there's hail. Two areas of significant severe in Texas and Oklahoma. So be careful those damaging wind gusts, and also 15% further north as well. So be careful. Lines or clusters of strong to severe storms are likely to impact parts of the Ohio Valley into the lower Great Lakes, parts of the lower Mississippi Valley, and the southern Great Plains this afternoon through tonight. So be careful those areas. Here shows the storms in those areas, especially in the northeast and Midwest, those ones in Ohio. Be careful. Later today still continues there, but does show those storms starting in Texas, a few stronger cells there, Colorado and New Mexico as well, especially later into the Texas Panhandle and Oklahoma, some cells. But that shows some strong cells in northern Mexico into Texas, so be careful there. I think there might even be a very, very low tornado threat spots of northern Mexico and Texas. So be careful. This goes and still in Texas tonight. It shows more in Oklahoma by tomorrow morning. So stay safe. And tomorrow afternoon, the HER still showing some big storms across the southeast, maybe a finger or two in the northeast. So stay safe. There's like this cape is like very insane. The HER is even to 5,000 joules per kilogram in Texas, but good thing there won't be as many storms there. But does show southern Texas and Mexico some good cape for those storms, so be careful. In the northeast does show some in the Ohio Valley spots of the northeast tonight, but not that much. It's higher now in the afternoon, so be careful in those areas. And there's like a slight risk tomorrow still for Friday, spots of Texas, and this marginal risk goes all the way from Texas to New York. So be careful. There's like zero tornado threat, 5% wind, and this 15% hail. 5-15% hail, so be careful. Strong to severe storms expected from the northeast across the Ohio, Tennessee, and lower Mississippi valleys into Texas on Friday. The greatest threat for large hail will be from Transpeco to East Texas. So be careful in those areas, and there might be changes still because as you saw those storms tomorrow that I showed you there now, so there might be some strong ones. Be careful. There's day 3, still shows this bigger marginal risk further east, goes all the way from Georgia to southern New Hampshire, even to northern Florida. So yeah, but mainly Georgia. So be careful in those areas, and also southern Texas, a marginal risk. So be careful. Isolated strong severe storms are possible on Saturday from the southeast to New England across far south Texas. So stay safe there. And here there's this light risk of excessive rainfall, spots of West Virginia, Maryland, into Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and also Texas into Arkansas and Oklahoma. So be careful in this marginal risk around it. Day 2, this bigger slight risk of excessive rainfall, got quite a big area, so be careful. Some heavy rain, and the marginal all the way from New Mexico to West Virginia. Day 3, a marginal in California, Nevada, spots of Idaho, and Oregon, and also marginal from Georgia to Pennsylvania. Day 4, New Mexico again, and Texas, spots of Oklahoma and Colorado, and a marginal in the Northeast. Day 5, a slight spots of Texas and New Mexico into Oklahoma and Colorado and Kansas, and a marginal, and still a marginal on the East Coast. So be careful in those areas. Here there's the weather map, still tomorrow and day 3. So be careful. There's like day 1 through 7, still shows next 7 days more than 5 inches of rain, spots of Texas, most of Texas. So be careful in those areas. Shows like more northern Texas and the Panhandle, and some in Oklahoma more than 4 inches. So be careful. Even that area in the Mid Atlantic Northeast showing close to 5 inches next 7 days. Next 5 days shows like this, but next 7 days ramps up even more. So stay safe. Be careful. Those areas, there's still the hazards there. Heavy precipitation, spots in Nevada, California, and high wind and heavy rain. The green, so stay safe. And here for some longer term, doesn't show anything crazy. The SIPs or the Colorado State University, but does show those days of 5% and other 5% chance of severe weather. So just those storms continuing there, but nothing that crazy. And still for week 2 and week 3 shows some supercell composite there in the plains, and especially this week now. And week 3 does show more across the south in the plains and even Mexico possibly. So we'll watch further into week 3. But we are watching some future systems coming that might ramp up some severe weather eventually, because these goals we're watching maybe occur of low next week. Spots of the Midwest might bring some storms, and there's this omega block and shows another low pressure over the southwest coming into the plains later, not into the plains, but might provide some storms later next week. And then this goes, we might need to watch more later by mid-May. So we'll keep watching. You can see that the same thing, the GFS, a similar thing. So this goes, that's snow in Canada there this weekend, and so that goes and shows like next Tuesday those storms potential in the plains because of that low pressure, and maybe some the Midwest or the East. This goes, and later is not showing anything so crazy, but does show some more storms later too. There's the European shows this goes there, those storms in the south, that small curve flows, some storms on the east coast, and later next week shows this burst of storms there with that low pressure and some snow as well. So we'll keep watching this. Be aware those areas. There's here for what just happened here for some rain and snow and stuff. So let's see. First snow here, so shows already the Rockies more in the next 5 days, spots to the west as well. So let's see. Canada first shows in Quebec, so some in Ontario, some 7 centimeters, 3 centimeters, and more northern Newfoundland, central Quebec, more northern Quebec, spots there as well. So be aware, those are especially there'll be heavier snow northwestern territory, spots of Yukon. So stay safe in those areas, even more than 35, 37 centimeters. Be careful. Some in Alberta, British Columbia, some 22 centimeters, 15 centimeters, more into northeastern, northwestern British Columbia. So be careful those areas, and still a lot in Alaska. So stay safe there, especially in the south, and even to like some 90 inches, 150 inches in the mountains, so be careful. In Colorado, it does have some 40 inches next 5 days, some 60 inches in the Rockies. In Nevada, some 8 inches. In California, some 10 inches of snow. In Utah, some 6 inches, 5 inches, northern Utah. New Mexico shows some as well, some 10 inches, 7 inches, more spots in Arizona, some 4 or 5 inches. It shows especially more than 10 inches in Wyoming, some spots to 8, 9 inches, 9, 7 inches, even to 12 inches. More Montana spots, western Montana, even southern Montana, more spots there. A finger or two in northern Minnesota or the UP of Michigan, but very little. So be careful. There's the GFS, has more in Minnesota as well, more in Ontario, and especially the GFS more in Manitoba too, and there. But in the Rockies, it's very similar. Shows there some more than 10 inches in Colorado, but it has less in Nevada. There's the icon more concentrated in the Rockies and barely enough in Minnesota. So it depends on the model, but be careful those areas. There's this rain as well, as I showed you there, uh, on the National Weather Service. So the European has close to like 4 inches in spots of Pennsylvania the next 5 days. This like actually close to 5 inches, like 489, some more West Virginia, even to close to 5 inches. So this area might get very wet. Be careful. And in the plains, still close to 4 inches, and spots of the south still, and maybe some more rain northern Arizona, even California might get more rain. Nevada, on the coast not much, but just in and there more rain, and but the southern coast might get more. So be aware. And spots of Canada too, especially Nova Scotia, more rain, and Florida might finally get some as well, so 1 inch, 2 inches. So yeah, be aware. And long range shows even more in the south, long range, but that's too far. So be careful. The GFS is less in Florida and a lot in the northeast as well. And there's the European shows right at the southern tip of Ontario and Quebec, like more than 100 millimeters spots there. So we'll keep watching too. These temperatures are still like cold in northern Canada, these negative temperatures, and already milder southern Canada. And in the US, still some 20s, 30s Fahrenheit in the Rockies, some teens potentially, and a little bit colder northernmost US, like southern Canada during the night. This goes shows even to like 25 degrees, 27 some Saturday afternoon in Saskatchewan, Alberta, so much warmer, but still those negative temperatures further north. This goes slightly milder, still cold in spots of eastern Canada, in the Rockies, in the US, into the Canadian Rockies, and then this goes, but still this periodic cold waves coming down spots there, so be aware. And still like next Friday, May 9th, slightly milder, but during the night kind of cold again, especially on the west, more dominant negative temperatures. So be aware. Still kind of windy in Atlantic Canada, like São Hargas, Nova Scotia, and other spots there. Thursday, Friday, this goes away. Northern Texas and Mexico might get stronger gusts, más viento, so be aware. And a spot or two in the Cascades or the Rockies. This goes the Hudson Bay sometimes, like Sunday, and then shows like near Yukon Northwestern Territories Saturday night. Shows some winds on Sunday, spots of eastern Canada, and more spots there. And the southwest in Mexico might get quite windy next Monday because of that low pressure. The GFS is kind of very weak, almost nothing. The icon's kind of windy. The European is very windy, so especially the California coast, more spots in Arizona, and even to 46, 50 mile per hour gusts, spots of 51, and more wind northern Mexico, like Monday, más viento fuerte así in Mexico, lunes. So BOR Monday, this goal still shows in the Rockies, kind of plains, high plains on Tuesday. They still like Monday afternoon in Oregon, Nevada as well, and más viento fuerte in Mexico Tuesday and Monday. So the high plains as well. So this goes, especially Monday, but still shows some as well on Tuesday. This goes there, and potentially in Eastern Canada, a finger or two. But they show like insane gusts next Thursday in Quebec. But that's too far. The GFS like 10 mile per hour, while the European has like 74. Like that will be more than 120 km per hour. So there's a big difference in the models. But be careful those areas and stay safe.